back everyone, welcome back. We just wrapped up with the initial series of the broadcast with the lower bracket semi-finals, and now we are live with the lower bracket finals. SHIN just took down Classic 3-1 in a very explosive, very short, very fast, very aggressive series, and now we're getting into our next matchup. SHIN advances on to face off against Maru in a best of 7. Oh boy. Best of 7, baby. Best of 7. Let's go. Let's go. Maru versus SHIN, they're about to face off. Vetoes are underway as we speak, and the winner of this series advances on to the grand finals to play off against Hero in those finals. Oh boy. We'll get there. We will get there. Just catching up in the chat. Greetings, CranKy. Let's go. My son is 5. He loves StarCraft, but his favorite race is Protoss. Should I disown him now, or send him to one of those camps to pray the Protoss away? Please help. Oh no, it's over. Not like this, papi. Not like this. Look, never blame the child. Blame the parent. Clearly, what happened? How could you expose him to Protoss in such a way? Ay ay ay. But regardless, as you can see here, vetoes are done. Oh, vetoes are done. Un momento. Game 1 is going to be a Mothership, followed by Evil Heart, Celestial Enclave, Winter Madness, Botanical, Magnatha, and Magnetic North. Okay, interesting lineup here. Now, very quickly, this is a rematch. Very quickly, this is a rematch. Maru did defeat SHIN 3-0 earlier in the tournament in the upper brackets, in the upper bracket round 1 match. Did bring him down. Now we have the rematch. Let's go.
Maru here in the top left and SHIN in the top right.
Yeah, Mothership is going to be a great map to start this off on. A nice 3-player map. The only 3-player map that we have right
but there we go. In the top left-hand corner, we have Maru. In the top right, we have SHIN. Let's go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is a Gamba time. Predictions are now open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat. Based on the previous match, based on Maru's current performances, I do lean towards Maru here. Maru has been looking very impressive as of late. But at the same time, you can never count SHIN out, right? Like SHIN, he can be very terrifying. SHIN, he dictated the pace and he kind of paved the way when it came to the meta previously. If you remember, SHIN, he popularized the Roach into Ultra style back earlier this year in DreamHack Dallas, and everyone followed suit. That was of course in the previous meta, in the previous map pool, in the previous patch. And SHIN, of course, that's where his strengths lie. If he can get into those ultras, if he can get into that hive tech, that's where he can excel. We'll see if he can get there. Oh boy, as we are getting into game 1 on Mothership.
I think the biggest takeaway, not takeaway, but the biggest reaction the patch got was mostly about Storm, but there were other alterations to the other races. I don't think it's been as much in the discussion, but yeah, let's see what TvZ looks like, because I think to this day, Maru is still kind of the leader in thought for TvZ.
Yeah, I think the biggest change that everyone kind of expected to be a bit more dominant than what we've really seen so far is the Microbial Shroud change, making it basically like a pseudo Dark Swarm ability where it limits 50% of all range damage, and it's not really found a place overall. It seemed like maybe at first when the patch hit it, there might be some kind of interesting Infestor Ultra Ling styles that were benefiting from it, but nothing really caught too much compared to some of the other styles. So that's something that maybe we'll see in this series. SHIN might be trying to reach into the bag of tricks. He might be bringing out some Mutaling Bane, because mutas have become a little bit more popular again as well since the patch. So a lot more interesting things can definitely still arise because of the interesting changes.
So I don't want to call out Gemini too much with what he just said, but I don't think Gemini was casting. Remember, for day 1 of RSL, they had sort of as a guest caster, and sort of he was covering the Zerg matches, and he covered Maru versus SHIN. In Maru versus SHIN, SHIN did play with Microbial Shroud. If you recall, he did go ultra into Microbial Shroud. You just heard Gemini saying like, oh, like maybe we could see some like Microbial Shroud ultra play, like, but we haven't really been seeing much of that. We have been seeing that. Again, we saw that in the previous series. Likewise, SHIN also did attempt to go Ling Bane Muta as well. Both of these styles have been more prominent in the meta. Meanwhile, Maru throws down 2 more axes. Hyper aggression on Maru, Jesus. Going for the 3-axe follow-up. Let's go.
See if he wants to, of course, eventually get that, because that's pretty much a staple, but no, it looks like he's going straight into a fast lair with some extra gas being mined as well.
Yeah, it's a 318 lair timing. Insanely fast lair.
Display, we could be seeing some of that 2-base muta that could be.
It looks like 2-base muta.
Extra gas as well. So both players going a bit polar opposites in terms of their build choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Muta play would be exciting to see here. For now, it's going to be a quiet game.
I gotta really chip in. When it comes to the builds right now, this is almost a build order loss for Shin. Remember, what's Maru doing? He's 3-waxing. Maru, he's going for a really early stim timing with the 3-wax. He's not wasting gas with a starport, with a factory, with factory-based units, with medevacs or anything like that. A heavy amount of Marines and stim. And remember, what is Shin doing? He is cutting corners, he's delaying Evo chambers, he's delaying 1-1 upgrades, delaying Ling Bane for mutas. When Maru shows up, Shin may just topple over and die. Because there it is, there's that Spire, as you mentioned, like Shin is going 2-base Muta against a heavy stim timing. This is disastrous for Shin. And Maru has potential, not saying that it's an insta-win, not saying it's a build order win, it almost is, but Maru's gonna hit like a truck, and it's gonna be a tough hold here for Shin.
Not entirely sure, but the fact that that Reaper is gone means that Maru is gonna have very limited information on the type of build that Shin's going to be going for, so this Muta play might catch him off guard if he's not totally prepared for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's almost forgettable that that Reaper was killed off early on, but you really don't have any way to check unless you were to basically sacrifice a mule with a scan here. And then again, this may be just a kind of predictable way to play the game. You know, I mean,
so see this Marine move out, this might just end the game. Remember, Shin, he has no baneling speed. He has no upgrades. He has no 1-1. Why? Because of the Spire, because of the Muta play. So this move out here from Maru is looking terrifying. Now, Shin, he did spot this. I believe an Overlord did spot the move out, and he is making nothing but lings, so Shin is getting ready for this round.
The reason why I was bringing it up is, like, you know, if you could... oh, hold on a second. Is he going to actually commit here? I kind of thought he was going to go halfway across the map and then run back, kind of forcing out lings. But instead, he's going to scan. He's going to kill that Overlord off. But I think there's no way for these Marines to get back home. So now that he's this far out, he has to...
You got the slow Banes. I mean...
see how that's going to work with Lings and Banelings.
Okay, he's around. Oh, he comes in.
Shin already prepared. I
don't know if Maru
was fully expecting this many.
He gets caught. Yeah, Maru's going to get caught out. No target firing the Banelings. Oh my god.
Every single Marine dying for basically just a few Banelings is not really a trade you're looking for as Maru. He killed a couple Creep Doomers and an Overlord, and then killed some Zerglings. Like,
yeah, Maru, he got caught out. He got caught out. He got caught by slow Banelings of all things. Of course, he got locked down by the Lings, but Maru, he was inattentive, and there was potential there for Maru to break through. He didn't, and now Shin gets away with his mutas.
Crazy how poorly that went. Now that Lings are going to come in here again, and I mean, now
and he can break through the Marines.
Fight because things are just beginning to snowball here.
Yeah.
Did the game just end?
I mean... I feel like
Maru about to die?
We're close to that possibly happening.
He may just die.
You know that there's plenty more mutas and Lings.
Like, again, there was so much riding on that sim timing, and that was a big blunder for Maru.
This may be one of the most catastrophic games of the RSL, and, like, I think a pretty questionable move here by Maru that blew up in his face. He did a blind medevac.
I don't know if I would say it's the most abysmal game of RSL. I don't know if I go that far. But that was Maru messing up.
This open, if he just maybe split the damage a little bit more, it looks like that will be the saving grace, is the repair on the depot. I can't believe this game looks the way it does right now.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of a mountain for Maru to try to climb to get back into this game. Shin is probably going to just continue on with the tempo aggression as well. He's still making more mutas.
Yo, True of State was here, they'd be saying. They'd be like, oh, Maru, he's trying to tax Shin's mental.
Getting into more aggressive options with these mutas, since that is the style.
Nah, he's up on that.
And for now, Maru.
But for now, Shin, he has map control. He has map control. He got away with his mutas. Again, he was vulnerable early on to the stim timing, but he survived the stim timing. He shut it down, and now suddenly Maru's stuck on 2 bases. He's stuck. He's contained on 2 bases.
Shin is an excellent start to this best of 7.
Yeah, well, this is about as good of a position as you could ask to be in. Now, you know, one thing about Maru is he's really tenacious. He is, I think, probably one of the best players in the world at when he's behind, kind of being unfazed and just powering through it and ending up ahead, just based off his raw mechanical skill. But even with that, I mean, it's hard to imagine him recovering from the damage he already took. I mean, and it's also just a funny-looking game. You never really see Maru make a bad call like that.
Yeah, and I think that just kind of goes back to the Reaper dying, because he just kind of went into that blindly. Oh my god, the Widow Mine's in! Not where Shin was expecting, neither what I was expecting. I didn't even see them there get massive hits on the mutas. Okay, so
nice big offside of Maru.
again, you were
Very
saying
nice.
It is Maru. He's very tenacious. We've seen him already make an incredible comeback in one of the series from yesterday. We cannot count him out when we should not do that. So maybe we were being a little bit overzealous there.
I mean, that
a
was
couple more moves like that, maybe we start to talk about this.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
Ninja
I mean,
Ace!
double widow
Let's
mines over
go!
there to just hit those mutas so hard. And I mean, that punishes.
But coming back on kind of what they're trying to allude to, Ling Bane Muta is a very fragile composition. True, it is very fragile. And because of that, one wrong move from Shin and he will lose his army. That's also why Shin is switching out. He's already switching into Hydras and into Lurkers. So the game is continuing.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. You don't really see that very often.
It's like a Brood War expand.
I was just thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah, where you go, huh,
where's the Nidus canal to connect those?
Yeah, right. He needs 1 or 2 Lurkers at that ramp, so the Marines can't get up and he'll be fine. Yeah, that's a very unusual place to expand to, but I guess why not, right? I mean, Terran is probably going to be landing a lot more mules and spending a lot less scans because they're already behind. And, you know, it's hard to get anything down there, especially with the vision that Shin already.
There it is. There's that Lurker Den on the way. Again, Shin is switching out of mutas completely into Lurkers.
Player maps very often these days, so it's just something that maybe the opponent's going to overlook. You just don't really think they're going to do it because why would they? And Shin is going to take that gamble and potentially get a nice economic lead from that with a base that won't be scouted for a long time. And it doesn't seem like Maru's going to be going for it. Instead, just going to be trying to poke away at these mutas wherever they do pop their heads, and then eventually find a spot where he can push across the map. Since he has accrued a fairly large army, Shin isn't going to let that go unpunished, though, as he's going to try to
no reaction at Maru, though. That's a lot of dead SCVs.
For as long as possible, so that way he can always
King 6?
regain his forces
Only
and get
6.
more on the actual engage.
So Maru's about to max out. Shin already has. Both these are high burst damage armies. So this is going to be kind of a crazy fight.
Yeah.
So Maru, he does have a lot of potential with his army, but he's pushing on to creep under the Banelings. Oh my god.
Here come the Lings and the Banes now. And I mean, so far,
Banelings have decent connections.
Unreal how much Maru
Wow, there's more Marines coming in.
Keeps panning and there's just more and more army. I thought Shin was going to maybe take that fight. This is a bad spot to morph Banes if Terran can pounce in here.
Yeah, that was a little bit risky.
And remember, Shin, he's just buying time for Lurkers. Lurker Den is done, and here we go. The first wave of Lurkers are on the way.
On the reinforce, a couple Lurkers also now getting into the mix as this Hydra transition is.
And that will take away a lot of momentum that Maru has.
Are no longer really a factor anymore. They're just going to be doing a little bit more poking damage if they're still alive. I'm not sure where they are actually. Nice Widow Mine shot to deny that run by as well.
Widow Mines hit the mutas earlier.
Oh my God, they're just absolutely sick.
So. You know, look, Maru, I think he's still okay. Remember that whenever you see Hydra Bane, it's like the first couple of fights that are the most important because you're spending so much gas to create this. So you really need to see those fights go well for Zerg if they're going to then be able to push across. Now, Maru fractioned off part of his army.
Lurker range is almost done.
Up the bottom here. I don't know if he knows about
Ghosts, I believe, aren't ready.
But he does know about this one.
So Shin has a big power spike. At the same time, he's going to be losing his, I believe, 6th expansion.
The idea that there might be more on the bottom. It doesn't seem like it just yet. It really feels like this base is just going to go unscouted. Oh no, it was almost.
Oh, he sees no.
Finally finds these drones.
He spots the expansion.
So unlucky. He definitely should know now. At least this army will get cleared up, since the main army from Shin is going to respond. But Maru has now known.
I mean, the mutas will zone him away.
He's going to be able to potentially aggress that later. He's actually bringing the rest of his army down to the minimap as well.
Yeah, and I don't know that.
Where are the Lurkers? Where are the Lurkers? They're not here. Maru, he can take this. Oh my god.
To do that, he just sort of ate the shots from the Banes and just pushed forward anyways.
Yeah, and without Lurkers, Shin, he can't fight.
Just win this game in a second.
He's dead.
Oh, hold on. We're missing
the space, I should say.
Counterattack at the top.
That's where they are.
Lurkers actually just running their way into the bases at the front. That's a quite bold move from Shin, but honestly, something that he needs to have happen right now because he's just lost these two.
We were like, where were the Lurkers that were counterattacking? They weren't with the main army. We have more Lurkers trying to morph in.
Still going to be able to actually defend this base down here. He's got a few more units. Maru didn't leave too much there, but the Lurkers over on the left side will get cleared out, and now Shin is going to be stuck on what looks like only 3 bases.
Yeah, I mean, he's got that bottom base still, but it's barely... Oh, no, actually, he's got a lot more.
Yeah.
I actually thought this was kind of empty.
I also did, too.
No.
Yeah.
Fully saturated.
So he's actually in better shape, but I don't know that that base can be saved. You know, one thing about Terran is they can kind of be forced to lift off a couple times, that it's way less bad than it is if, like, a hatchery's exploded. So,
Wings, they get into the mineral line.
Counterattacks are looking good. This is
It's going to be a lot of SCVs.
Not a planetary over here, so this is going to be something that, especially if Terran's going to be on the map, it's harder to defend.
Yeah, this Ling run by is run its course. It's going to
Four dead workers. Maru, he turns everything back around. Maru still has no ghosts, but the lurker count is very low. It's a very low lurker count, so Maru, he can still deal with this.
This victory, he's done an excellent job of bringing this game back. Ever since those 2 Widow Mines hit the mutas, it feels like he's just kind of been on a little bit of an upwards trajectory in this game after that incredible early flop that he had. But for now, I mean, SHIN is the one that's trying to scramble around, get a couple extra bases. He's getting this top base now. The one on the bottom still is saturated. But now, look at that. It's the Brood War tactic. He's just got the lurkers at the top of the ramp. There you go.
This is such a funny game, and there's just so many little Brood War elements happening in this SC2 match. Now, he does really great splitting here. He needs to scan again. Okay, or you could just kill the hatchery.
Yeah, takes time the expansion, ignores the lurkers, pulls back.
So he gets that, he gets out. He actually didn't lose anywhere near as much as I thought he would. And the problem is like...
And SHIN is struggling. The problem here is the economy. The economy for SHIN, he has a low base count. He has 80 workers, but he's not mining efficiently.
He's now going to transfer drones to this fresh base. And that's a little too close for this matchup. So we'll see what he can do to recover. You can see all those drones at the bottom are not mining, and they're not going to be sent anywhere else because the map isn't safe. Map control definitely going to Maru here. And with the even supplies, I think that there's going to be room for Maru to probably try to close the game out. But we'll see. We'll see if he overextends.
See, chat, you can ignore lurkers? Yes, in low enough numbers. Like, the lurker count is low enough where ghosts aren't required. You can just kind of split and just engage.
SHIN, a large part of his just entire network is on that bottom base trying to get that set up yet again. There's a couple lurkers sitting there too, a Viper, like you said, a bunch of the drones that are...
And now we have ghosts on the way. So now Maru, he already could like kind of like fight these lurkers head on anyway. Now he has ghosts to actually deal with them. Oof. More efficiently, I should say.
Maru in these last couple of minutes, and so everything is trending upwards. Even
he gets a free Viper.
It seems like Maru is king at just finding all these little picks here and there. He's even going to try to come right back up into
a nice spread, breaks through the lurkers,
and potentially just wipe the space yet again.
How did he split that like it was an AI?
Yeah, that was just insane.
They both went perfectly in opposite directions. You're not supposed to be able to get up a ramp that easily versus that many lurkers.
That's Maru, man.
No, you can't.
The whole idea is it's like, no, there's
only
so
4
much,
lurkers.
There's so many different angles all hitting one spot.
This isn't Brood War tasteless.
But anyways, he does it.
There's no high ground advantage. Not like that.
The base at the bottom was probably one of the only things that Zerg had going for him.
Yep.
Now the other bases are very strikeable here for Maru, who is now, by the way, taking another base here in the center left.
All right, we got a couple ghosts also joining the fray here. It looks like Maru isn't quite ready for this attack, but still is able to back up nice and cleanly. SHIN engaging off of creep is going to
again here. There's only 3 lurkers, so there's nothing to stop Maru. He can just keep pushing. Nidus into the main though. No, 2 lurkers get caught. There's 1 lurker left. The 2 across the map.
Really anything to actually deny. He could, I guess, get the.
Okay, that does distract Maru.
Could be decent, but a scan and a couple of ghosts should be able to snipe those away and force them off. So that's a nice defense for Maru as well. And it feels like all these little attempts that SHIN is trying to make to just get any sort of, I don't know, any sort of advantage in this game again isn't quite working out too well other than a CC lift.
Oh, it's just he has no money. SHIN, I mean, like SHIN, you can see that SHIN is on 64 workers. He's stuck on quote unquote a 4 base economy. He doesn't really have the bank to build up and max out. SHIN, he did have a really strong start. He had a really nice lead, but we spoke about it, right? We spoke about how his Lingbane Muta army was really fragile. We spoke about how he was getting to lurkers, but there was one big fight that occurred towards the southern half of the map that went heavily in Maru's favor, where SHIN fought without his lurkers. But we'll get into it. SHIN isn't engaging. He's moving in. Yeah, the Marauders, they just stay in their ground.
How do you even engage into this as SHIN, man? This is insane.
Yeah, you don't.
The split is so good. There's still a large amount of ghosts that could be throwing
down.
Banelings
are rolling in.
Banelings trying to get onto that backline of ghosts, but the splits are so good for Maru. But the rest of the Hydra is still in the back end. We're able to deal with a good amount of the bio.
So many medevacs.
A large amount of Maru's army is actually medevacs, so that's going to be a little bit deceiving on the army supply count. And now we've even got a forward Nidus.
See, what Gemini was trying to say is that the supplies, Pappy, the supplies.
Actually an overextension from Maru. It seemed at first it was going to be a great fight, but now SHIN has actually got some position on the map.
And SHIN's going to basically try to have the strongest counterpunch.
How many? He's got 4 lurkers.
And just try to push through here.
Nice
I'm
EMP.
not sure if it's going to work. I don't see a ton of infantry, though, here for Maru right now. He's definitely going to
Planetary is going to go down.
Yeah, the Planetary getting killed off is a great win for him. A couple Banelings connecting onto some Ghosts in the backline as well. The supplies for both these players are getting so dangerously low at this point. 13 more SCVs are getting killed off, which means SHIN will actually have the eco lead again, despite everything that's happened in this game.
Yeah.
And Maru, he's got a massive army again, though, for the counterattack. So while SHIN was able to do a good amount of damage in that counterattack, now Maru, I feel like, is going to have a bit more tempo going towards his side to potentially try to end this game once and for all.
You know, it's funny, like, I really like what SHIN did there, but I don't think it's enough for him to recover. Like, I think it's a good
SHIN, he had a really nice engagement. He was able to break the Planetary, which was great and all, but it still comes down to the economy. Look at the, I mean, again, Maru, he almost remaxes instantly. Like, Maru, he has more efficient mining. I can't say the same about SHIN. And Maru, he's going for the expansion, actually, going for the hatchery.
We're going to go for a flanking lurker maneuver on the backside. Maru
Lurker's out of position.
Just a little bit, a couple of the Liberators getting killed off, but the army size for Maru continues to be extremely large, and this entire time he's also had the 3-3 upgrade advantage. SHIN, during all of this, has basically been forced to cut that 3-3 upgrade. It's been sitting on 2-2.
SHIN going for the counterattack, trying to get on top of the ramp.
3 as well, but it seems like
that's what, 6 lurkers on top of the ramp, and Maru, he just ignores it.
GG. And honestly, SHIN just completely starved out towards the end of that. You can see he was trying to find anything to get any sort of engagement, but it just wasn't really working. He's like, all right, I don't want to deal with this anymore. Let's go to game number 2.
GG, well played. Again, SHIN, as they were alluding to, he was out of resources, out of money. He was running out of steam, of course, as he was losing base after base after base. In the end, the ninja expansion that SHIN took did hurt him because it was so difficult for him to maintain that ninja base. But more importantly, it came down to the fight just outside. We were kind of trying to get into it. But initially, SHIN had a really strong start. He had a really nice lead for himself, but it all came down to the big engagement outside of his ninja base. If you remember, he kind of dragged his army down to the southern half of the map, where we saw a greater CranKy from Maru. Maru pushed in, and at the time, we were like, hold on. If you remember, we were like, where are the lurkers? Where are the lurkers for SHIN? They weren't with the main army. They were counterattacking. They were going for a run-by instead. And the run-by even was delayed, if you recall. So in the end, SHIN, he was forced to fight without lurkers, with only Ling Bane Hydra, with diminished Ling Bane Hydra with worse upgrades as well. Took a bad fight, and then we saw Maru snowball from there. The lurkers were able to counterattack, and they were able to get a couple of SCV kills and deny a little bit of mining, but that's it. Like, it wasn't really worth it in the end. And from that moment, SHIN was spread thin, he bled out too much, and he lost his lead. GG, well played. Very impressive comeback there out of Maru. And again, SHIN trying to transition out of Ling Bane Muta into Lurker tech, but wasn't ever really able to hit critical mass. I don't think there was ever a single point in this game where SHIN had more than 6 lurkers. I think at any point he had like max 6 lurkers, so he never really had a proper backbone to his army. He was trying to build up, but every time he tried to, he was spread thin, he was losing more and more lurkers. The Ling Bane Hydra army is very mobile, that's true, but in a head-on fight it is worse, and GG, well played. With that, we're getting into game number 2.
This might be a map that he can bring in some interesting builds, some interesting cheddar cheese, maybe some proxy hatches or some early all-ins or something. Maybe Maru's actually going to be the one to throw out a proxy rax or something. It doesn't look like he's actually sending any SCVs though, so nothing too spicy to start it off, but maybe this is where SHIN can bring it back.
Yeah, let's see what SHIN's got this time around. I mean, my biggest takeaway in that last game was it's like, you know, even when Maru, I think, makes a strategic blunder or takes a risk and it fails, the fact that he's just so mechanically solid, you know, he knows exactly how to take these fights. Even when he was, like, literally brute forcing his way up ramps versus lurkers.
Yeah.
His control was so good. That, you know, that's where it really, I think, becomes intimidating. Now, this game's going to be gas pool.
Wonder what that's going to be. I mean,
yeah.
It's obviously you're going to try to get a couple links early on to potentially deny a low ground CC attempt from the Terran player. Being able to kill off the SCV is the best thing you can hope for in that regard, but maybe SHIN might want to go a little bit heavier with the aggression as well with this gas here. Could be trying to follow it up with some sort of Roach Ling Ravager all in or something to that effect as well.
Very quickly, we're getting to Evil Heart. Evil Heart is the most aggressive map in the map pool. Bear that in mind, so there's a lot of aggressive potential. But very quickly, there's someone saying in the YouTube chat, casting over the casters. lame. Hope they gave you the okay to do that, or that's low. If you're maybe a little bit newer to StarCraft, maybe a little bit unfamiliar, but it is stated in the title of the stream, of the Twitch stream, of the YouTube stream as well. This is a co-stream. We do have permission. We've done this a couple of times. We were given permission to co-stream for RSL, for EWC, that's Esports World Cup, and for DreamHack Dallas as well, and I think DreamHack Atlanta, a couple of DreamHacks. So this is not the first time. This is like a co-stream, was like a quote-unquote react stream where we do have permission to talk over them, and of course they have done so, not just for us. There are other co-streamers. I think Upper Tree, he was also co-streaming a little bit. I know that Rotterdam was co-streaming a little bit. I think Berry Crunch is co-streaming, and a couple of others are co-streaming as well. So again, it's a part of the title, and again, we always do some whenever we do cast an event or whenever we do a co-stream, always with permission. Just as a heads up, I know that maybe some people are unfamiliar.
So, you know, I think even though he didn't go in the main, he should probably know this is what's coming. He's basically just moving on the map.
Coming back to the game, Roach all in. Let's go.
And if so, where is it?
I like that he is checking the gold. Maybe he's seeing that last match that he had versus Classic, realizing that could be an option. So we'll be taking both into account, even going to the top left as well. Really wanted to make sure that it's not just a hidden expansion, that it is actually going to be some potential aggression.
There does seem to have been an uptick in hidden bases in StarCraft 2 right now. Generally, it's like
so SHIN is cutting workers at 18, is going for a Ling Ravager all-in. Maru's going for what looks to be a 3cc 2-on-1 setup here, but I don't think he's confirmed yet what's going on.
The least expected thing actually can be very good because they just obviously don't expect it. The Reaper coming across will get killed off by the Lings. I like that SHIN hid the Ravagers as much as possible, because right now from Maru, this looks like just a little bit of Ling aggression.
He doesn't know. Maru, there's no bunker on the high ground.
He doesn't look like he's reacting.
He sees nothing
that he should be against a committed Roach Ravager follow-up. There's no bunker, nothing at all. Right now, forced to bring the SCVs back up into the main base and use them to fight into this engagement.
Ooh, friendly fire. Oh, good.
Lets a couple Links in. Wow, actually getting it up in time to disallow the Ravagers and stuff. But this is still an awkward engagement now for Maru.
The infrastructure, I don't know how else to say this other than it is so at the front of the base. I've never seen so much infrastructure like right there. The Ravagers can just go to town.
Nice positioning with the Hellions. He shuts down all the Lings. Again, SHIN had some friendly fire, and the Ravagers are being focused down. Maru's holding.
Well, I guess there are some reinforcements coming out here. Somehow Maru just...
He wants that Ravager. He wants it. Can he get it? It's so low. He's going to get both.
This guy? He's lost 14 SCVs, but he's still killing every unit, microing against every single keeping almost everything alive. And now they're reinforcing Lings. They're
the Lings literally got here like a second too late and couldn't help the Ravagers out. You know what it's like? You ever know these like bad movies from like the 90s? Where like, you know, the hero.
So with that, SHIN, he committed to the all-in. The all-in has failed. Maru, he has Stim on the way. Remember, Maru, he went for a 3cc 2-on-1 build. He has a 3rd CC already complete in the main base, ready to make more workers, ready to land. Maru, he's in a commanding position. Yes, the supplies are a little bit deceiving. The worker counts are very close, but mules are in favor of Maru, and Maru's up in expansion as well. And he comes in for the counterattack.
As Ragnarok, or SHIN, excuse me. And now
other boys.
Watching the Hellions.
There's no Lings to defend.
A singular queen on the defense is just tickling these Hellions, killing 9 drones, more to follow. What has SHIN got to be able to defend these little tiny red health Hellions? Finally, a couple more Lings pop out to kill them, but I think Maru did more counter damage than what SHIN did initially.
Yeah. Well, this is always the funny thing when you see a big scary rush like that, is then you go back to the base and you're like, oh, they don't have anything. You know what I mean? There's one queen back here, and there's, you know, not even enough drones to be at every single patch. Now the Ling counterattack comes back here.
This is just a counterattack game. This is like everything that they spawn, they're just throwing across the
map. SHIN is just desperate. He's just desperate. GG gets called, and Maru, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series.
Well, game's over.
That was
gamer moment.
Gamer moment there. So, I can't believe the rush failed as bad as it did. I almost wish we could go back and like look at what happened there.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like a moment where he should have been able to like, maybe you don't want to bile down the add-ons. I guess you probably want to hit Marines or I don't know.
It's so hard to make those decisions in that snap play because like you just have to make the right one, otherwise you will just snowball and lose.
Yeah.
It felt like Maru's micro against the bios was just so good. Like
it looks like the casters did notice. The observer did. I don't know if you noticed in the chats, but we did try to point it out. The observer specifically opened up the units lost tab to showcase it. But when Shin was breaking into the main base, when he threw down the biles, he actually broke into the main base. The lings flooded in, and he biled his own lings, and he killed his own zerglings. When Shin broke into the main base, and that's when the observer intentionally, actually, I want to say boxed and then showed the units lost tab. I don't think Gemini and Tasteless realized that, but Shin did cause a lot of friendly fire. And when you're going for an all-in like that, when time is of the essence, when you have to kill your opponent then and there, every unit counts. 5-6 extra lings. What does that mean? I mean, that means more dead SCVs, more dead Marines, getting some of the Hellions. I don't know if you remember when Maru broke down onto the low ground, but his Hellions were on red HP. The Hellions were barely surviving there. If you did have those extra units, maybe Shin kills. Maybe he kills then and there. But I will say that was a very impressive defense just because Maru had no foresight. If he did, there would have been a bunker. There would have been a bunker specifically on the high ground to defend. For him to defend without the bunker is insanely impressive. Does help a little bit that he was going for a 2-1-1, not a starport. If he was going for a 1-1-1 Rax factory into CC into starport, then he would have less units to work with. But thankfully for Maru, he was going for a second Rax. So he had extra production, he had extra units to defend. So that did help in the defense, but also Shin did fumble the aggression as well. Did fumble the ball. GG. GG, well played. With that, Maru takes a 2-0 lead, and we're going to be cutting to a break. Here. When we come back, we will be returning with game number 3, and the pressure is on. As a reminder, this is a best of 7, not a best of 5, so it's first of 4 wins. So 4 wins is all you need. We'll see you soon after the break. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, we have returned. We are mid-series here with Maru versus Shin. Currently, Maru's up 2-0. He's up 2-0. He's up in the series, and it's a best of 7, so we still have more games ahead of us here, but so far Maru has been looking insane. I will say that Shin has had his own strong moments. Remember game 1, Shin was ahead, Shin was in a better position, and then it slipped through his fingers. Similar here in game number 2, I liked the build overall from Shin. He kept it hidden, he kept it safe, but the execution was lacking there, so just barely Shin is falling short against Maru, and Maru's the kind of player that you have to bring your A game to. Yeah, you have to bring your best to this series to his opponent, as Maru is 2 games away from claiming the series. Up next, we're going to be loading into Celestial Enclave. Oh boy, I would say this is a map where it is easier to defend on as a Terran player, to build up your economy, to build up, to defend, and to get into a longer game state. The pressure is going to be on Shin. I would say this is not a bad map for Mu to play, but we'll see. We'll see if Shin does embrace mutas again, just like in game 1, or if he goes for a different kind of build.
Not just be a straight up 4-0, but just from those last 2 games, it unfortunately does maybe look like it's going that way. But Celestial Enclave maybe will be the turning point for Shin as we head on into that map number 3.
Okay, Maru here in the top right, Shin in the bottom left. And
I got a fanfare.
I don't want to pick on Shin too much, but the build order and the way that loss felt, it almost felt to me like Shin kind of knew he was in hot water after game 1 and went, okay, we tried a honorable macro game. Let's try to just, cripple Maru early on. And the fact that it backfired so badly may just be a statement about these 2 players and what kind of games they create, where Maru just knows how to beat Shin. And I'm sure, this is always true in tournaments, but I'm sure you've even experienced it where some player who's just strong enough you can never beat him no matter what you do. So hopefully that's not the case this time around. We are on the map that has the pocket base in the back, and that's funny. I didn't think he would expand there.
Yeah. That's interesting.
First. I was literally about to say people normally take this later because it's free, but never mind.
Yeah, I think that might be one of the first times we've seen one of these one of the players actually take it as their natural, especially as a Zerg.
Oh,
like I feel like as a Zerg, generally you always feel very safe no matter what. You take the forward normal natural. That doesn't seem like something that is.
We'll see if they pick up on it
too much. So I'm curious what the plan here is from Shin in this particular game.
It's gasless, Pappy. The observer's pointing it out.
Part of me thought like maybe Maru like
The
sees that
observer.
there's no nat or something, or that it's later, and he thinks it's another.
So-
like, he's trying to mind game him and say like he's not going to go super deep to check or something, and he overreacts. But I feel like Maru's not the one that would fall.
The casters are finally catching on. So this is a gasless build here by SHIN. This is a rare build, but it is more viable on maps like this. What map do I mean? A map with a pocket base. So basically, the goal here is to take your gases very late. You take your gases very, very late as a Zerg player. That means what? That means no link speed. That means no roaches early on either. It means that you're actually quite vulnerable to aggression, but because of the map layout, you're actually very safe, because how do Hellions get into your pocket base? They don't. Not if you have queens. We're going to have to be very, very heavily reliant on queens and on SimCity. And SHIN, he'll be able to turtle up on 3 bases, SimCity here to wall up the ramp, specifically the ramps here at the 3rd location, and get away with a very greedy build by droning up as heavily as possible. So this is a very greedy build, but it is more viable on Celestial Enclave because of how the map layout works. And we'll see if SHIN can get away with it. Maru, his reaction, his response here might be to go for an all-in, might be to go for a 1-1-1. Players like Clem are really good at punishing this build. If you remember, this build that SHIN is going for was very meta last year, the year that Clem won EWC against Serral. I want to say Serral went for this build like 4 games in that series, like 3 or 4 games, and Clem punished it every single time. But I will say it is difficult to punish here on Celestial Enclave, and Maru is going for a 3rd TC before Starport. Maru responds with an economic opener, not an aggressive one.
Straight for the greed, and look at Maru
Yeah,
also going for a straight low ground CC again on a kind of random base that you wouldn't normally see this on.
This is disgusting.
What am I looking at?
This is criminal.
No way SHIN scouts that.
3rd command center.
No,
You know, if you lose the SCV that's making that, it doesn't finish. You know that's how risky that is.
So winding it back, the reason why Maru can do this is because no link speed. So Maru should never be punished for it.
No extra links or anything. Maru is making a very calculated greed move, thinking that SHIN
Gemini's
is
on it.
possibly going to send random links over to this base of all bases. He's making a great play, I feel like. This is an excellent read and adaptation compared to what SHIN is doing.
It's double engineering bait too.
Yep.
Good lord.
That's a standard response.
Stop this, man.
Someone stop this.
So winding it back, that's the standard response. So basically, Maru, by going for double eBays before the starport, before the 2nd racks, this should be the setup for an 8 racks. This should be the setup here for a very strong 2-2 timing from Maru. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Tempo Jesus in the chat. God, baby God, thanks so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Welcome back as well. I know you've been on a very long hiatus from StarCraft, so hope you've been enjoying yourselves. Hope you have enjoyed your return from WoW, from Kata, and hope you have a good time in StarCraft. Welcome back, Pappy. Welcome back. As we are currently mid-series with Maru versus SHIN, winding it back quickly, catching you up on the build. SHIN went for a gasless opener, very greedy build. Maru reacted with a 3rd TC on location into double eBay, into a strong 1-1, and an even stronger 2-2 timing, and we're expecting this to become an A-Rax.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully he does key into that. I mean, he sees the double eBay, so that's enough greed to show him that he can take that double Evo himself to make sure he doesn't just become so drastically far behind on that upgrade count, because that becomes...
So right now we're building up to 5 Raxes. We'll see if Maru takes his gases at his 3rd.
A whole set of upgrades ahead of your opponent is just... It's just a massive window that you can abuse from any side, honestly. So SHIN wants to make sure he is going to be toe-to-toe with that in that regard, but Maru is still going to have the upper advantage in that regard for quite a while. And this 3rd base, I wonder if SHIN even realizes how fast he put that down, because it's like...
Well, SHIN can't deny it, right? Because of the build, like SHIN, he's only just now finishing up link speed. Like SHIN, he cannot do anything about that 3rd base. Meanwhile, the armory is on the way. As we mentioned, this build from Maru is meant to hit with 2-2. There's a very strong 2-2 timing here from Maru, so 2-2 will soon begin, and we'll see what kind of army SHIN can build up and amass to handle, to deal with Maru.
Thinks this is a two-base game, right? Well, he's going to be preparing for a push that's going to come immediately. That may delay, you know, a new expansion, or he might cut on drones. When the reality is Maru's push is actually going to be a bit later, because it's actually a pretty standard time push, which is on 3 bases. By the way, guys, we've casted at countless 3.
Thank you for noticing. I appreciate that. Yeah, we know, Pappy. We know.
Expansion, though.
Yeah, you always float
We keep up with the tempo, Jesus.
And you don't float it immediately. Once you just like check this out, he's gonna show him. He's like, look,
look what I've done to you.
Yeah. Now, even then, he might still not know.
Ooh, 4th CC on
when
location.
that was set up, but the
So if you remember, I assumed that this is going to be an 8 racks with the 4cc, and now with the gas on the way, Maru, he's just macroing. He's just macroing up from here. He will have a strong 2-2 timing, but he's not getting extra racks. He's expanding, taking gases, and this can lead into another factory.
Realizing again, though, that there was some kind of greed happening. Of course, seeing the double eBay, he might have actually put the pieces together that the third base was quite quick. And he did drone up pretty heavily behind some of this as well.
There's the 8 racks. We have 3 more racks on the way. That's 8 in total.
For himself, and now he's going to be able to ramp ahead
for Maru
in army supply as well. So I feel like both players are going to be able to really meet in the middle eventually in this
SHIN going for Dropper Lords. Okay.
A couple Dropper Lords also being morphed here, interestingly enough. I wonder what those are going to be for. Maybe Baneling drops, or maybe usually sometimes, okay, it's actually going to be Lings to go into the main base, I'm assuming. Once Overlord speed finishes up, they'll be able to zoom ahead over there. A couple Overlords also getting picked in the middle of the map to deny any vision, but SHIN will be able to force those away.
It's going to be 4 base versus 4 base. I assume that, you know, these Overlords are going to have be inbound over to that hidden base.
Yeah, Maru, he's going to have the better economy coming into this. Maru, he is now getting a second factory. 2-2 is almost done, and Maru can soon be active on the map.
But
he's been active with drops, what I mean with the main army.
Nearing being maxed out. SHIN has an insanely high supply. The first battle in fights with these types of armies is really important, right? Because you need to see, do the Banes connect properly, or is the center set micro so good that they, you know, are pretty much cut up and not connecting to juicy targets? Because, you know, the counterattacks and everything else from there are going to be really, really big.
Oh, Maru, I think, captured the Dropper Lords over on the right-hand side.
Oh.
He realized that that was happening, was able to kill one of them, the other one also weakened, but now the surprise is kind of gone here for SHIN, trying to use that little multi-prong harass that you don't normally go for. It's not super common.
Yeah, Dropper Lords are denied. 2-2 is done.
In TvZ, so that's
3-3 is on the way
for him, because obviously it seemed like he was really trying to set that up for something big, potentially even to get into the main base to maybe deny.
And it looks like Maru, he might just turtle until he maxes. Okay, fair enough.
Pairing it up with an attack over on the left-hand side as well, but it looks like for now SHIN's army will find a couple of drops, but since it's just Hydras on the ground, you can just boost away with the medevacs as well. So SHIN isn't really actually killing many of these units from Maru.
Yeah, gonna go ahead and just pick up over here. Maybe try to actually.
Yeah, what's scary here is that SHIN, he maxed, but he's late to tech. He is taking into a hive after he maxed out here. So it looks like SHIN, and I don't blame him. I was expecting it as well. SHIN, it looks like he was expecting Maru to be more aggressive. It looks like he was expecting Maru to go for the 8 racks, but he didn't. Instead, Maru got a 4th CC, got more gases, got a second factory, and is looking to max out, which means that this max army that SHIN went for wasn't worth it. He could have gotten a faster pit, a faster hive, a faster spire, but he chose to max out instead, and he didn't achieve anything with that max out army. So really rough positioning for SHIN as he's falling behind.
And not just like medevac harass.
Yeah, now that he's actually maxed out, he's got his 2-2 finished for quite a while. He's
and now Maru's maxed.
Some position on the map here. 3-3 is going to be coming up in just a couple minutes, so he's just kind of setting himself
SHIN, he has no hive, so he has no vipers.
Winning blow later on in
he's
the
going
game.
for it.
SHIN
he commits in.
Want to let that happen though, coming in from multiple angles, setting up the Banelings to try and connect onto the Marines.
Oof.
But the stutter step and the micro from Maru is going to be able to deny that.
Yeah, the Banelings, they barely connect with anything.
The tanks and Marines are still holding strong on the back line.
The movement from Maru was just insane there. Like, able to pick up certain units and then kite with others.
Yeah, SHIN, he attempted this around, but there was an opening. If you saw there on the south side, there were no Banelings, so Maru, he just kited to the south, up the ramp, up to where his tanks were. The Banelings, they barely connected with anything. Maru takes the fight, and Maru, he is snowballing out of control. SHIN, he's in danger. He's in trouble.
Maru's gonna keep going.
Yeah, it looks like SHIN is trying to go for a counterattack. Got a lot of Lings going over there, trying to send a couple as well to kill some of those tanks, but just met with more reinforcements, unable to find any damage there, losing a base on the left for this. This base over on the right-hand side could just get lifted if needed, but there's still enough units to actually defend as well. So SHIN, all of his attempts to get any counter damage are being met again with a brick wall.
It's so funny. It's like he sees the Lings attacking it, and you know he just hits the button to make the orbital. He's like, I'm not losing that. We're going to go ahead and just start to upgrade that building. And of course, the Marines do come in there and chase that away. 3-3 is about to finish along with concussive shells. And the push is not stopping. And listen, if SHIN can't stop this, the game will end.
Yeah, this upgrade lead is going to be great for Maru. 3-3 over 2-2, even having one on the vehicle weapons as well. SHIN going to try to mount another defense, but just immediately forced to run back. The Lings trying to again go to the right, but again a planetary ready in defense. Maru is just killing everything without losing any units, it feels like. The Lings trying to find something will eventually get that, but the splits back from Maru continue to be excellent.
Yeah, I think this game's almost done, man. There's going to be another hatchery falling here. The army, you know, not all these medevacs have energy to heal, but it might not matter. He gets the hatchery regardless. The counterattacks did a decent amount of damage. 12 SCVs is not bad, but I think
Oh no, the rally of the queens.
Yeah, these queens.
It's an unfortunate miss rally, and again, we got 12 SCV kills, so SHIN was able to deal some counter damage, which is nice, but the main core of the army of Maru is still out there, is still up and running. One tank does get picked off, but SHIN, he's struggling to hold on here. Now he finally has the Hive, and with that Hive, SHIN, he has some Vipers, so thankfully, with a handful of Vipers, SHIN, he's able to barely hold on, but behind this, he has no Lurker Den, he has no Lurker upgrades, like, he can't really make full use of the Hive because he doesn't have an economy, because he's been losing his army, right? These rough trades have been killing him, and you can see SHIN, he has no bank. He has 82 workers, he's trying to saturate, but he has no bank. He cannot afford to invest into a greater form of army. He's stuck on Lingbane Hydra. He's stuck on a Lair Tech army. At least he has some Vipers, which helps a little bit.
SCVs himself. He's got so many CCs that he can easily just replenish that eco, whereas SHIN, yeah, he's on 81 drones right now, but his army is not able to do anything at this point. He's got such a little army supply. Maru's right back up, nearing max again. He's already on the bottom
does
right.
Catch him out. Okay.
Yeah. That hatchery is hurting.
Maru, he wasn't looking.
Nearly no HP there.
Bleeding out goes.
They're going to get surrounded. But, you know, SHIN's barely clinging on to life here.
Oh, wow. I can't believe.
Oh,
okay,
gets the medevac full of 2 ghosts.
Finally, something going SHIN's way a little bit again. So we'll be able to pick that off. It's quite nice. So we'll be able to keep this bottom right base alive for now. Adrenal coming up as well is going to be very important for him to be able to take some more of these late game engagements and also allow his harassment, if it does start to keep going, be more effective. Because once Adrenal does kick in, the Lings really start to kill bases and other buildings much quicker. So it makes them much more effective in the late game. We'll see if Maru can stop him before it really gets to that point, as he's basically maxed yet again, trying to come on in to this bottom side of the map. Will he be able to actually kill this off?
Yeah, there's going to be another big attack coming up here. SHIN looking pretty fearsome. Question is, where are the
nice blinding clouds?
The infantry? It looks like they're slowly trickling in and meeting.
Yeah, lands a couple of blinding clouds. The Hydra started stepping in, but again, there's no Lingbane. Without Lingbane, the Hydras, they just melt against the bio army. SHIN, he has to back off, trying to build up any reinforcements. Maru, he's rallying across the map, and Maru, he has an overwhelming army supply. He's going for it. He's going for the kill. And remember, there's no lurkers.
Yeah, this is looking great.
There's no lunkers.
He's just right in front of these banelings, barely even pre-splitting, honestly, just kind of disrespecting it. Now finally does go for it, but Maru will be able to clinch this third game, coming up very nicely so far in this best of 7.
GG, well played. Again, Maru having a really strong reaction to what SHIN went for. Remember, winding it back, SHIN did not go for a standard build. He went for a gasless opener. He was very, very greedy, going gasless, getting his pocket base, getting his third base, staying on a very low gas count or non-existent gas count for as long as possible, being as greedy as possible. How did Maru react? I assumed he was going to go for a hyper greed into an ARAX. He went for a hyper greed with a third CC on location, double eBay, into a 4th CC. And I mean, in the end, both players were just cutting corners, being very greedy in their own way, and SHIN misread the game state. If you remember, SHIN with his greed, what did he do? He maxed out, and I do believe that he expected Maru to be more aggressive. I do believe that he expected Maru to go for that ARAX timing, but Maru didn't ARAX. As we were mentioning, Maru instead got a gas, got a CC, got a factory, delayed his extra Raxes. He delayed maxing out, instead being even greedier and building up his economy and building up into a longer game. And that meant that SHIN, when he maxed, he was stuck on a maxed out army, and he didn't do anything with it. He was stuck with a maxed out army, and that means that his Hive was late, his Pit was late, his Lurker Den was non-existent. SHIN was ready for an attack that never came, and he fell behind. Did fall behind. GG, well played with that. Maru, he's up 3-0, and Maru needs one more game to claim the series. Oh boy. Una más, papi. Una más.
You can land mules there the second it's done. I mean, that's big.
Yeah.
So, greedy play from Maru. Interesting to see how he mixes it up in each of these games. And we're going to go to game 4. And hopefully game 5, but probably not. It's probably going to be a 4-0 here, looking at his,
the hell?
how strong Maru is. We'll see if SHIN can come
These
up
guys are like, the series is over, papi. Just, can we call up Hero and have Hero start the videos with Maru? Can we? It's like, Jesus. Calm down, papi. Calm down. Let him play. Jesus.
In this series, I mean, down 0-3. It's so difficult to make that comeback. The full reverse sweep is just such a monumental task in some of these best of 7s, and against someone that you have never I can't even emphasize that enough. Never won a best of 3+ against. Like,
Yeah.
how do you even possibly start this comeback?
I mean, it's rough. It would be the craziest comeback in StarCraft 2 if he could do it. You know, it's pretty rare in a best.
But here we go, we're getting into game 4. In the bottom right hand corner we have Shin, in the top left we do have Maru, and welcome to Winter Madness. Now Winter Madness is one of the larger, more defensive maps in the map pool. If Maru were to play something similar to what we just saw, he could get away with it here, building up into a third, into a fourth expansion as well. What I should emphasize though is that the greed that Maru went for last game was a reaction. Remember, that was a reaction to what Shin had done. So we don't really expect Maru to be the initiator when it comes to cutting corners and being that greedy. So we'll see how our players do adjust. Shin is going for a standard opener this time, hatch gas pool. As we tried to emphasize last game, the gasless opener that Shin went for was very specific to the map Celestial Enclave.
That was the best series of all time.
Yeah, that's a pretty good rowdy voice.
Thank you.
You got the sound that he kind of makes when he talks. That was very good. Well done, Gemini. So, in this game, I mean, what exactly is Shin supposed to do?
Good play,
I
Muto.
don't know. I mean, it feels like he's tried several different ideas and none of them have worked. You know, Maru, this time he went for tech into expand. And you know, he's shown such a comfortable range of play. I don't know. It's a mystery to me what exactly Shin could do better to try to take on Maru.
It just feels like Maru has the answer for everything, and he can do anything.
Yeah.
There's no
So
strategy
they're like,
Maru
what can he
would
do? And that to be fair, you know, Maru, he's a really strong player. There's a reason why they're hyping him up. What I would say is, bring it back to game 1. Remember, Shin was ahead. Like, let's not gloss over that fact. Like, Shin, he was in a better position. He was ahead against Maru. Maru was losing game 1. Then he had the crazy comeback. Shin did make mistakes. We saw something similar a couple of days ago in their initial series in the upper bracket as well. So, along those lines, I would like to see us go back to something like game 1. What happened in game 1, if you weren't here for it, Shin went 2-base Muta. He went 2-base Muta. He was able to deal crippling damage, gain map control. It was the follow-up where Shin did stumble. So, we could see him bring it back and try to go Muta again and try to tighten up his follow-up. We'll see, as we have Maru's build of choice going 3CC 2-1-1. Oh boy.
But I mean, these guys, how many times do they face each other in GSL and other Asian?
Yeah, as you can see, there's that third command center, there's that second racks. Fun fact, I would say that Maru, he's going 3CC 3 racks actually as a follow-up. This should be hard countering Muta play. This is, speaking of game 1, this is the same build that he went for in game 1.
Looks like
True,
Maru's gonna
same
be
build.
bringing back one of the builds that he used earlier on in the series. It's going to be that third CC into the 3 racks. I think this was on.
Yeah, Gemini's caught up on it.
The first map that he did.
He
this,
knows,
where
he
he
knows.
did that big marine move out. That honestly, it looked like it was the worst for him in the whole series, but still was able to recover from losing all the marines on the map and like 18 SCVs or something like that on the counterattack to the Ling Muta. So. We'll see if he's going to try that again. I imagine Shin won't. Well, actually, he's going for a pretty quick lair. Maybe he might try for some
it's a fast lair
or something interesting. But Maru, I feel like, won't be as aggressive with the marine move out this time, I'd imagine.
Maybe. So, touching on what Gemini just mentioned here, as he does snipe the Reaper, but Shin, he is going for a fast lair. If you remember in game 1, he went for a 318 lair timing. I believe this is a 330-ish lair timing, so this lair is not as fast as in game 1, but it's still a fast lair, nonetheless. So this should be for Muta play. This should be Muta play, and this is looking very similar to game number 1. Very similar from both players, from both sides.
And paving the map with creep and trying to get ready for what's going to be a really, really difficult mid-game and late game here versus the likes of Maru, who just seems to be invincible in the matchup. 1-1 has started for Maru. I don't believe we've had any Evo chambers made just yet. But if they are,
Yeah, there's the Spire.
nobody misses a beat here. Maru will always be ahead.
So Tasteless was looking for Evo Chambers, but again, we know that there was never going to be Evo Chambers because of the faster lair into 2-base Muta. So 2-base Muta out of Shin. The downside of this build that Shin is going for is that his Ling Bane is going to be weaker because his Evo Chambers are delayed.
I'm not surprised that he's bringing this one out when all the cards are on the table, basically. So he's going to try to find that type of momentum that he was able to earlier on in the series. See if he can get his Mutas and Lings and Banes into good engagements and maybe snowball this one into a nice mid-game for him. But I think Maru's not going to give him as much of an opening as he did in the first time. But we'll see how aggressive he is with this early Marine move out as he takes this third base.
Yeah, the problem here, like Gemini, he's saying that like, oh, like Maru made a big mistake in game 1. He shouldn't do that here. What I will say is that Maru doesn't really have the information to not be active again. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Maru isn't active. Maybe he stays at home and he turtles. Or if he's active again, then that's going to give Shin the opportunity to try to punish him.
Only one right now for Shin.
Yeah, so those are going to make it a little bit more difficult to match the 1-1 upgrades and eventually the 2-2 that'll be coming out from Maru. But all of the leverage that he's trying to find in this game is coming from this Muta play. He's going to see if he can get any sort of backstab damage, take Maru by surprise a little bit by going for this fast Muta again. Zero scouting from Maru on this tech, so no seeing of the extra gases, not seeing the lair, of course, and
getting a blind turret.
So
he
he's
knows.
not going to have that information to know that it is going to be a fast Muta. Is he preparing for it anyways, though? I do see a couple turrets being made in the production tab. Nothing in the main for now.
Yeah, wow.
Like
he scans, he sees.
Now it does drop that
yeah, he
down.
just scanned the natural, he knows.
Aware of the possibility and even gets the scan to confirm at this point. So he knows that the mutas are inbound, but where is Shin striking first?
And Shin is going to go up here into the natural. There's one turret here and a couple Marines, so nothing of major consequence is going to happen here.
So a very nice reaction here by Maru, very strong response. He denies the Muta play.
I think the turrets are going to be set up pretty nicely. Will we have Terran actually push out? He seems to be forking his...
And so far, this is a cleaner game out of Maru in game number 4 compared to game 1.
You know, with the 4th base finishing, it is pretty standard to see...
We have 3 extra Raxes. I believe that this time 8 racks. Yeah, this time it's 3 extra Raxes, no gas at the 3rd base, no 4th CC, no 2nd factory. This is the build that we expected Maru to go for last game on Celestial Enclave. He's doing it here. This is hyper aggressive here out of Maru. Basically a borderline 3 base all-in out of the Terran.
Bane on the ground. So Maru is going to ramp up the aggression, like you mentioned, trying to go punch down that 4th base with this 2-2 that's going to be finishing up rather quickly, continuing the Hellbat production as well, instead of going for Widow Mines, which is interesting because it felt like historically the composition against Lingbane Muta from the Terran has been to put in as many mines as possible to get the trades versus the Lingbane on the ground, and also against the Mutas. But Maru is going to be mixing that up, going for a full frontal force basically to bulldoze down with those Hellbats to tank some of the Banelings.
Okay, 5th base coming up here. Maru is not going to strike.
I do want to echo what Gemini just said, and I think it's really cool that he brought it up that Maru is mixing in Hellbats instead of Widow Mines. It is it's more unique, 100%. It's more unique. It is more aggressive. It is more all-in. Again, echoing what Gemini just said, he wants to just barrel his way through. Nice contamination here on one of the E-bays, but Maru's army is still looking terrifying. And again, he has no intention to macro from here, to tech away from this.
Yeah, he's really just been able to deny these mutas.
Just waiting for 2-2.
I do like that Shin has an Overseer in the main base, at least trying to deny these upgrades for a little bit. Unfortunately, he's delaying the armor instead of the weapon upgrade, so it would have been nicer if he could have gotten that. But basically, anything is good for him at this point. There's a massive Baneling and
bold
lane
move
run by over on the top right-hand side.
Going for the counterattack.
We'll see if that's going to be able to get any damage or when Shin actually wants to go in for it. It looks like he's trying to draw the Terran army as far away from that portion of the map as possible before going in with that massive army, and he's going to try to trigger that right now as the bio finds its way onto the creep.
Okay, the big counterattack is going to come in here now. He is going
to
try to overwhelm this situation here. Now, remember, the Banelings that are coming up here, these could have been used
he's breaking into the mineral line. He's going for the natural.
So this, okay, that was insane. That was, I can't believe how many workers he killed. That's
yeah, he kills 2 mineral lines. 30 SCV is going to be going down. Liberator's getting caught out as well. Very nice catch here for Shin, getting 31 workers. More importantly, he drags the entire army back home. He delays the all-in.
So he already has 24 more. Really good.
And remember, Maru, he has no intention for the game to go on any longer. He's trying to push out once again, and we can see Shin setting up another counterattack.
Is simply to counterattack as much as possible. Once Maru gets all the way across the map, the rest of the army from Shin is back in the natural yet again. He's trying to make as much chaos happen as possible, so that way it forces Maru.
It dives on the reinforcements.
Do you commit on the
and we're going for the base trade
to defend? And for now, it looks like he's going to commit.
God, we got the Baneling's Nest right over here too. So when that goes down, that means you can't get any more Banes for the time being until it's remade. But I mean, Maru is just going right up towards the main. And I don't know that this army can be killed. We don't see Shin running back.
I agree here. Like in a head-on fight, Maru will win. Without Banelings, like how do you deal with Mass Marine Marauder like this? You don't. Yes, Shin, he does have a more mobile composition. He's trying to break down all the buildings. Trying to.
So the question is, with what Shin has, can he wipe out what Maru is hitting him with. And I think the answer is actually no. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
He's also remade the
like the okay Banelings. Okay, never mind. He's got a bunch of Banelings.
Of this defense.
That means he can take a fight.
More Banelings to defend against the 54 Marines that Maru has right now.
24
the
Banelings
Hellbats are also going to be key in blocking some of those Banelings from getting the nice connections. You're just going to
really smart that SHIN rebuilt the Baneling nest. Really smart.
The Marauders also
he has a chance.
Will be filling that role, and now it looks like Maru is going to be trying to go to the last base for
he's collapsing in.
Let that happen.
Okay, the Banes are going to come in here. There's not enough surface area.
Oh
for
my
Maru.
god.
A huge pickup. He's going to try to drop these back off into the
and SHIN has done it.
Here as well.
SHIN, he's done it.
Nice engagement.
Pulls the boys.
SHIN, forcing these, but now the Muta's actually getting a little bit overeager as the rest of the Lings do finally come on in, but now they're forcing the Bio to lift off, and that's when SHIN can get the snipes on the Medivacs as well. So honestly, a pretty good defense so far from the initial attack, and SHIN also still has a good amount of drones behind this.
The target firing on the Mutas.
Best for SHIN. He might be trying to go a little bit too far, but I think he's actually still going to be able to kill off some of this units.
Yeah, he's done it.
Okay, so
SHIN, he shuts down the all-in, he cleans up the army again. So crucial that SHIN was able to rebuild that Baneling nest and able to build up those Banelings to deal with the army. And now Maru's stuck on 2 bases. SHIN, he is on 3 expansions.
39 drones.
Yeah, this is looking good for SHIN, I feel like. I mean, he's going to be able to keep some of his drones alive.
Yeah.
Honestly, those 3 Hellbats actually...
Like, as soon as we panned over to the Banelings, it was like, oh, SHIN, he's fine. Like, he does have enough to deal with the army. But now Maru's got a second wave.
Drones alive. I just realized Maru has 3-3.
Yeah,
Maru actually finished 3-3 during all of that. That's actually going to be huge if this starts to get a little bit later.
Was the Spire remade?
I
actually don't know.
I don't believe it did. No, it's not. It's just going to be Lings and Banes.
So, I mean, the problem with Lings and Banes, so every Muta is really important here. You know, Mutas pair so
Gets
well
into
with
the natural.
Bane.
Distracting Maru.
Oh gosh, he doesn't really have enough to defend.
Nice pickups.
Yeah, the rest of the Marines are actually over.
3 Marines camping the production.
To kill that top right base. So that means the main base yet again.
Ooh, but SHIN, he will lose his expansion. Does he get the Marines? Sorry, the drones even.
Of always backstabbing,
Doesn't get them.
counterattacking anytime Maru tries to take any real estate on the
SHIN,
map.
he escapes with the workers.
Right back in there in his main base, forcing off the strange decisions. Where does Maru engage?
So, all the tech's here, right? I mean, not that there's a lot of tech, but like this. I mean, the spawning pool, the Baneling's nest. He's starting to get a layer again. But, excuse me, he can just camp over the infrastructure, right?
But Maru, he's trapped. Here comes the Ling Bane.
Here already again.
Oh my god.
SHIN. He's trying to get an engagement as Maru, but
yeah, Maru, he's running out of steam. He's running out of army.
Enough to deny this. The CC is even getting lifted off as Maru once again forced into one base. It's getting killed off as well. It feels like Maru is having such a hard time actually getting a punching blow onto SHIN. He's able to just barely survive with enough things, enough infrastructure to continue to remake.
I think SHIN can win. I think there's just too many Mutas. There's too much on the ground.
SHIN's been ahead for the past couple of minutes, yes. So I think SHIN, he might have a chance. Yeah. I mean, again, when we panned over to the Banelings, like, that's when we knew.
God, he made a lot, though.
Yeah, I mean, he's scanning Maru, that is something...
Again, Maru is down to 10 SCVs. Maru, he has no economy. SHIN, he's on 2 bases.
He sees no base on that one.
He still has his tech. He can still build up Banelings.
False interpretation of where he's at in this game, but this is honestly going to be quite difficult for Maru. I don't even think a player of his caliber can find a way back.
Oh,
into
no,
this game.
sorry, he lost the Baneling nest.
Doubling his supply. He's only got 31 drones, but his army count is crazy. Sure, the upgrades are not good for him, but it feels like with what Maru has, you can't really get a good engagement. 7 Banelings only on the field, but 90-something Lings?
Yeah, here comes this around.
Engages is Maru.
Collapsing on the army.
He's so good at clicking down the Banelings from a distance.
Banelings connect.
Excuse me. He's going to pick up again and try to unload over here on the high ground. I think you're right, though, about the Lings. It's just too many. GG. SHIN takes
GG, well played. SHIN does put a point on the board, despite the casters having no faith back. But GG, well played. SHIN does put a point on the board. Winding it back here, again, it was still a very intense game. If you recall, Maru went for a 3-base all-in. He went for a big 8 racks timing with 3-3. Sorry, with 2-2 really into 3-3 eventually. But it was crucial that SHIN bought time. He was able to build up his Ling Bane, and instead of waiting to receive Maru's army, he went for a counterattack. He went for a counterattack, was able to get into the natural, into the 3rd base. He killed 31 SCVs, and he forced Maru back home. Remember, we were trying to emphasize that Maru, he turned back around. He turned around to deal with the army, to deal with the harassing force, and we saw that SHIN was able to rebuild and do that again and again, and eventually force the base trade, and was able to build up enough of Ling Bane to be able to deal with the army eventually as well. GG. So crucial there that the SHIN bought time, and also that he was able to delay Maru. Part of that, of course, was Maru having to wait for his upgrades because of the contamination, and likewise the map is also larger as well. GG. GG, well played. With that, we have a series, we have a back and forth, and now SHIN, he's taking the game. Can he take more than that? Can he force the ace match? Can he bring us all the way to game 7? It's gonna be a mountain to climb here. It's not gonna be an easy series for SHIN. He has taken the first step, the first of an important step in this series, and we'll see if we can keep on going. Very quickly, when it comes to the rest of the maps ahead of us, let's quickly double check here. Up next, we're going to be loading into Botanical. Ooh, a map that I'm very unfamiliar with. Botanical is, I don't think this ever made it into a ladder map. Yeah, never made it into the ladder map. Was a TLMC 20 map instead. Interesting. It looks pretty aggressive. It looks very versatile, very unique. So we'll be getting into that a little bit later here. I think they're cutting to a break. So we'll be back soon with the remainder of the lower bracket finals.
That's where those are for sale. And we're going to take a short break. When we come back,
they come to a break.
See
you soon.
See you soon. Maru versus SHIN.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, we are jumping in mid-series into Maru versus SHIN, and we do have a back and forth. Maru, he is ahead, of course. He's up 3-1, but SHIN, he has begun his own comeback here. He just was able to win a game on Winter Madness, and we'll see if he can begin the comeback here and make a series out of this and have more of a back and forth and bring us all the way to the ace match. It's going to be a very tough road to travel here for SHIN, but I would love to see more games. I'd love to see more games here. Up next, loading into Botanical for game number 5, a map that I'm very unfamiliar with. Very unfamiliar with Botanical, so I don't really know what we're going to be stepping into. From my understanding, I believe this is a more aggressive map. I believe it is a smaller map, has its own quirks. We'll find out as we get ready for it.
Matchup in StarCraft 2, but if SHIN can make the reverse sweep happen versus Maru, that's the stuff of dreams, man.
Yeah, in the FGC, they say if you can win a game, you can win a set. It is possible for sure. We'll have to see. He looked in very good spirits there on the player cam, I gotta say. Looking comfortable, looking confident, you know, laughing it up. The map here is going to be Botanical for game number 5 state. In the top left, we have SHIN as the red Zerg, and in the bottom right, it is the Terran Hope Maru as the blue Terran.
Yeah, Maru has been looking so good this series, but SHIN now finally fighting back in game number 4. And you have to wonder how Botanical is going to play into this one, because we've seen some very deadly TvZ pushes on this map. There's this junction between the natural expansion and the third where Terran can basically push almost from the high ground with this ramp location right here, and it is just so siegeable. Third base, tanks even creeping and crawling towards that natural expansion. It's very easy for the Terran to encroach on the heart of the Zerg base.
Yeah, there's a ton of good tank positions around here. On the flip side, if you advance too much, there's kind of multiple angles the Zerg can come from, but the Terran doesn't often have to commit that hard, right? They can make the Zerg run into them. We'll have to see if that plays into it, but right now, we
2x Reaper.
have a 2-Rax on our hands.
I spoke too soon.
Yeah, 2-Rax with a gas as well, so a little bit of a throwback to a build that Byun had popularized, I want to say a couple of years ago now, which took the TvZ world by storm a few patches ago. These Reapers on the low ground were all the rage. You get some map presence. You can potentially even deny a third base or at least delay it in TvZ, and it's cool to have Maru bust this thing out in a best-of-7 series. You don't see it all too often these days.
I would say that's not true. We do see this quite often. So this is 2-Rank Reaper. This is something that did permeate and was very common, very popular 2 years ago. If you remember, Maru actually did help invent it alongside Byun. I mean, I say that's a little bit disingenuous. Juanito, special, he was the one that invented the build, and then Maru and Byun took it from there, and they showcased it at DreamHack Atlanta. That was at the end of the year, I believe in 2023, if I recall correctly, and then it permeated throughout the meta coming into 2024. But again, Maru was a big part of that, for those that are unaware, so he did help popularize this, and we're going back into it here and now, and we still do see this every now and then in the current meta of StarCraft.
If Maru is consistent with the Reaper production, that might be possible, but he's transitioning into Marines relatively quickly.
Meanwhile, a big shout to Gross Papa in the chat. Ga, papi, ga, or ga, papa. But thank you so much for subscribing for 4 months, papi. Thank you so much. We do appreciate the support, and I hope you enjoy the content, hope you enjoy the casting, hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Of course, we are still mid-series, and we are co-streaming the RSL. That's why you can hear the other casters in the background. They are, of course, covering the event live, and we are merely co-streaming it here alongside them.
Like this, you'll go up to say 5 Reapers or so, but Maru just gets 1 Marine out to deny the scouting of SHIN back at home, and he goes into a very fast 3rd command center.
Yeah, we have a 3cc 2-on-1 out of Maru.
I'm sure we'll have a factory in production, or maybe not. It's a tech lab and a reactor right now. This could build up to a relatively low tech but strong push from Terran in a few minutes. And hold on a second, is that a 4th command center from Maru?
No way.
4th CC?
We have 4 CCs. What on earth
that is crazy.
Man, what a mind game this is. Says, hey, I'm 2 racks Reaper pressuring you. Psych, actually I'm making 4 CCs at home.
Well, like, again, going 2 racks Reaper into a 3rd CC is pretty normal, but a 4th CC, that is insane greed out of Maru. Jesus.
And then double engineering way behind it. We have 4 CCs for Terran. This is outrageous.
I mean, if SHIN doesn't do some damage at some point in the mid game.
Now, for anyone that remembers here, we have seen this before. If you remember, Jesus, the Reaper Cliff. I don't think that's meant to be a thing. But if you remember, Radisson Station. Radisson Station was another really weird, quirky map, and we have seen 4th CC before Factory and before 2nd racks on Radisson Station before. That was Spirit versus Solar at EWC, or was it DreamHack? It was one of the two, but it was Spirit versus Solar on Radisson Station. But Radisson Station was also a very extreme map, if you remember. That was a very extreme map with a pocket base, with a safe and secure natural as well. So there was reason, there was rationale behind cutting corners on Radisson Station. Here on Botanical, I didn't see the rationale for it here. Like, like it is even riskier to do here on Botanical. Crazy, baby, crazy.
Possible Terran Eco, a pro-level TvZ this early on. It's ludicrous.
Maybe in Spirit was like Spirit was greedier than this. If you remember, Spirit, he went 4th CC before 2nd racks. Here it's 2nd racks into 3rd and 4th. So technically Spirit was greedier than this, and he did beat Solar in that game as well. Fun fact. So Spirit was greedier than this, but again, it was a safer map. Like, I should emphasize that we have seen crazier builds than this on safer maps.
Did he see that or not?
Yeah, I'm not
as opposed to
sure.
Botanical.
If SHIN glimpsed it, he would have glimpsed it after it had lifted, so we can't even check through the fog of war.
Now, very quickly, it's gonna be a 3 racks follow up from here. So we're building up to 5 racks, fast 1-1 into fast 2-2.
Yeah, it looks like it was close.
Just like in crazy greed out of Maru.
I don't think we'll see an insane reaction from SHIN. Even if he did, I don't think he's going to suddenly just start making lings and try to bust this down. You don't have any tech like, you know, Road Ravager or Banes to, or Mutant.
Oh, and also, sorry, I was a little bit distracted by the build by what Maru was doing. But thank you so much to Hinter Listing in the chat for the $10 donation. Thank you, Papi, thank you. We don't really get many donations here. We get like 1 donation every like 3 months. Like, we don't really get many donations or tips. So thank you so much. We do appreciate it. Thank you. Do appreciate it. Live VIP / CranKy Ducklings, best commentator regarding build maps and strategy in SE2. Learn a lot from my own playthrough from your stream. Thank you for streaming. Oh, thank you. I'm glad we're able to help. I'm glad we're able to impart some knowledge and some strategy in some way. Thank you. We do appreciate it.
Going into lair, adding in the Baling Nest, 1-1
appreciate the kind words. We appreciate the donation. We have 3 more racks on the way, so once again we're building up to an 8 racks. Like this looks like a regular like 2-1-1 in 2 racks 3rd CC into an 8 racks, except for the 4th CC. Like, that is throwing me off hard. This should be a 3 base all in, but it's 4 bases. So I'm caught off guard, Pappy.
Yeah, that will hit like a truck for sure. I still can't get over this build. If I played against this on ladder, I'd be so mad. Like, why did you do that? Like, if I all-in you, you just die. But Maru with the big read here says, no, I know you won't do that after I open with the 2 racks Reaper pressure. But I like what Shin's doing here. He's getting his 5th base nice and quick here. He's got drones.
I would push against Sturgeon's analysis there. He's like, oh, like it's calculated. He's doing this because of the 2-Rax Reaper. Not true at all. Like 2-Rax Reaper does not keep you. I gotta protect the chat from potential misleading words here, because if you're out there, you may be thinking, yo, if I open 2-Rax Reaper on the ladder, does that mean I can go for a 4cc? No, not at all. This is still very illegal. It's illegal, back. It's not safe.
It absolutely did pay off.
It's crazy.
We're actually going to see combat shields finish up here in about 8 minutes, which is really insane. These Banes don't have speed quite now. The Marines trying to.
Also, thank you so much for the 1,000 bits in the chat. Thank you, Kaczynski.
Kick up there into the medevacs and fly away.
Thank
so
you. Thank
nice
you.
little harassment here by Maru.
Gracias.
Who's yeah, just looking at a pretty comfortable position here.
Yeah, already adding an extra extra tech labs, I should say, on the barracks built on the low ground here. That's going to be for Marauders because he's anticipating fast ultra coming in from Shin. He's right that it's ultras, but they aren't too quick on the board just yet. Hive only about
Yeah, so Shin, he himself is going Ling Bane into Hive into Ultra Tech, so Shin is taking up into Ultras, but because of Maru's boosted economy, this 8 racks that Maru's getting into, it's going to hit even harder. As Stay just mentioned, I believe Maru, he got his add-ons on his extra raxes, which is usually not done, so he's going to have an even boosted production.
I say that he's
He
ready to
scans.
collapse all the way down on the 9 o'clock.
He spots the
There.
aliens.
It looks like the triangle. Okay, the burrowed Banes do go down there. It looked like the push from the triangle base towards the Zerg 3rd was the logical path, but Maru going to go towards the left of the map here, actually pushing onto creep. He wants to deny some of this creep spread as much as he can. Doesn't want to let the Zerg, get creep down the whole side
CC's
of
on the way.
But I love this from Shin. A run by, going around to that 3rd base. There is a sensor tower there to
Hold
see
on.
it. And some units he can
Is
send.
Maru just going to turtle up? Like, Maru, he's being active right now, but he's getting a 5th CC and some sensor towers. Is he just really just going to set up back at home?
When you have 4cc gameplay like this, 2-2 upgrades now done for Terran as well as Shin's going to be launching.
Nice run by.
The sensor tower does see this.
Breaks in.
Reinforcements are going to
No
be
reaction. Oh my god, massive connections.
A lot of SCVs are going down, but Maru, he's still got 60 plus, so his economic engine
He's still pushing in there.
is in a good position. He's going to take down this hatchery here on the left side.
The mine
Shin
shots
is coming in. Actually, no focus fire there on the hatchery. So the Marines. Oh, okay, finally.
No bailings. Yeah, bailings are delayed. Hatchery goes down.
Into the corner. More bailings here. At the 3rd base of Shin are going to have to retreat as he's trying to be as annoying as possible, collapsing again on this position with the Ling bailing. Finally, he's able to push Maru out.
It does cost him a hatchery though. There's more bio down here right now.
Yeah, so far, nice split push here by Maru. He spreads well against the Banelings. He took down one of the expansions. He is being forced to pick up, but remember, no anti-air, right? There's no anti-air, so he can just pick up and get away safely. Lings, they unburr here in the mineral line. They get a couple more SCVs, and for Shin, it's all about buying time. Buying time for what? Buying time for ultras.
Very useful here for Shin. Not too far behind the +3 infantry weapons, but still going to be an upgrade advantage window here for Maru. Should he try to capitalize on that timing? Now 4 medevacs going into the main base. This does get spotted by Shin. He's got a big force of Lings trying to stop this right now in the main.
Also, I do apologize for there's like some weird frame drops.
Spot. Even though he has 83 workers right now, the saturation is not fantastic after losing that base at the 9 o'clock, and he also doesn't really have a lot of anti-air to deal with these medevacs.
Yeah, that is the issue when you play Ling Bane into fast ultra. You don't have your Hydras, you don't have your Mutalisks, so the medevacs kind of run free. Good pickups by Maru here, still trying to do work with these 4 medevacs. They're starting to get weak though. The spore crawlers will actually start to take them out.
There's a full medevac.
They drop in the middle line. This will be their kind of last stand here. There is no path home.
But alas, Shin is being pulled out of position. Another base goes down.
Side of the 3rd base of Shin, and it will fall.
Yeah, you look at the medevacs there, the triangle expansion getting cleaned up, and it seems like a very bad trade, but that bought Maru the space and time that he needed to take down another hatchery of Shin.
Yeah, nice little counterattack.
Yeah, and Maru, he killed the 4th, he killed the 5th base, and even though Shin is squeezing out ultras, the economy is suffering here. The economy is suffering for Shin.
It's getting worse.
Oh no!
The initial trade there for the Marines was so good into those Zerglings, and then he picks up.
Man, beautiful moves by Maru right now. Shin hasn't even retaken that base on the left hand.
Yeah, Maru's just trading so efficiently. He still has the better economy as well. He has momentum. Now Shin, he's slowly building up those ultras, and he can, if he's able to buy enough time to build up the critical mass, he can maybe take a fight, but he needs more time.
At this point, once you factor in the mules.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, for sure.
It's not even close. I mean, you look at the mineral income differential right now. It's 2.2k minerals a minute for Shin. Maru is 4k plus at times with all of these mules landing, and he has so many orbital commands. He's sitting at 70 SCVs. The mineral saturation is perfect.
Yeah, the one thing Shin does have going for him is these Ultralisks. We don't see any ghosts or anything like that.
How many ultras do we have? Like 3?
Which can try to deal
I don't
with
think there's that many.
Hatchery forced to cancel, but Lings once again get into a mineral line here.
Yeah, they're going to find some more SCV damage.
Yeah,
but
3
there are
ultras
so
to
many
defend.
command centers to replenish that word count as quickly as Maru needs. He is still maxed
Oh
out.
god, Shin's out of position. The third base goes down.
The triangle expansion. Parasitic Bomb is going to drop on one of those medevacs. Maru immediately identifies it, peels that one away, gets 2 queens from the low ground once more. Shin's on 4 bases, but it feels like it's 3.5 bases because these Marines have been such a problem on this mineral line.
The multitasking of Maru is...
Well, the problem is that, like, the quote-unquote drone count and base count is okay for Shin, but he's been losing so many bases and he's been denied so much mining here that the mining is so inefficient for Shin. Ultra goes down. There's only 2 ultras left, so that ultra timing that Shin was trying to hit, he can't afford it. He just can't afford the ultras.
Yeah, the multitasking is just unreal. This feels like a war of attrition, and normally you would favor the Zerg in a war of attrition, but Maru's economy is so through the roof off that 4cc opening, now taking extra expansions, a lot of them even orbitals, not even planetary fortresses, as every single base of Shin seemingly is under fire, drones going down, just non-stop, every which way, and he's having to remake so many hatcheries right now. He's retaking the 9 o'clock expansion, but the mineral lines just cannot get saturated.
Those 2 Marines had more than 20 kills.
Yeah, just cannot saturate the bases. The medevacs finally go down, but he snipes the Ultra Cavern, so what you see is what you get. I believe that is a 4th Ultra on the way with 2 Infestors, so he can land a Fungal. He can try to land, I mean, he has no Microbial Shroud. There's maybe a chance here for Shin to maybe take a fight, but for the most part, he's just being pulled apart. He's being pulled apart. More drones are going down, and Maru, he's getting out of hand. He's getting out of control, showcasing why you have to punish a Terran, or why you just can't let a Terran player get away with 4cc. That'd be crazy, crazy. And again, we've seen greedier builds from Spirit, but on different maps, right? On safer maps. I would say that this map is open enough where you could have been aggressive. You could have been more assertive here, but Shin, he was maybe just a little bit traumatized from the series overall. Maybe wasn't really feeling too confident about pushing into Maru. I don't blame him after how the series has panned out, and that lets Maru get away with the greed. Crazy.
Killing bases left, right, and center. 6 hatcheries have gone down this game.
It's just a masterclass of macro TvZ that we're seeing right now from Maru, and it all started with a little bit of a gamble going for that fast 4th command center. At what, 3 minutes and 30 seconds or so? He did that at 4th CC. Shin was not able to punish it. He might have scouted it with the Overlord. We don't know, but in any case,
no, he didn't. He did not scout with the Overlord.
Able to close the gap economically, and now Maru at 200 supply.
The target firing. Who needs ghosts? Who needs them?
I think we are going to be getting a rematch between Hero and Maru in the grand finals of the RSL, as Maru is finally able to close it out versus Shin. And what in the world did we just see? That 4cc opening.
After 2 Rax Reaper, that's the crazy thing. Like, what a build here from Maru. Wow. I love it. Like, it's so greedy. It's a good risk to take against a Zerg who doesn't normally, you know, do crazy all-ins and stuff. We've seen him roach pressure in this matchup, but I really liked the choice, and it paid off big time.
Yeah, I mean, say Shin does go for the all-in. We were talking about this earlier. You're best of 7, and you're up 3-1.
I would push against Sturgeon here. He was like, oh, it's a good build to do against a player that's going to play safe. If you remember, Shin did go for all-ins this series. He went for the all-in on Evil Heart. He went for the Ling Roach all-in. He's gone into 2-base Muta before as well. 2-base Muta would actually do quite well against 4cc play. But again, like, we saw that Shin was pretty passive. He was very passive. This is the one game in a while where he didn't go mutas. He did not go into muta play. He went Ling Bane into Hive into Ultras. So it was a really solid gamble there from Maru. He got away with it. There was nothing to be worried about. There was 0 harassment. There was one moment where Shin did go for a Ling Bane counterattack and did kill a mineral line. He killed like 25 SCVs, but that was after the fact. That was after Maru had already reaped the rewards and after he already had a 4th CC up and running. So the damage was too late. The damage was too late. That kind of damage had to be done earlier on as Maru was building up, not after he'd already kind of created his engine here for like the Terran production machine, which was already up and running, right? It was already up and running. So the damage was too little too late, and from there, Maru, he snowballed out of control. But again, a very cheeky build, and I do like Maru mixing this into a best of 7, because it's such a long series, you have the freedom to be a little bit cheeky. He was up in the series as well, so it was a calculated risk in that sense, where even if he would lose here, like, he could recover later on. He had a little bit of breathing room to take those risks, to take those chances. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations here to Maru as it does advance on, and we do have that rematch ahead of us. It's going to be Maru versus Hero in a best of 7? Or is it a best of 9? I have to double check. Best of 7, okay. It's going to be a best of 7 rematch here between Maru and Hero. For those that weren't here yesterday, we did cover Maru versus Hero in a best of 7 in the upper bracket finals, and Hero did win against Maru, but just barely. It went all the way to the ace match. So it was very close, very back and forth. So even though Hero did beat Maru yesterday, I could very easily see Maru winning instead. So regardless of how this goes, it should not be one-sided. It shouldn't be one-sided. It should not be a 4-0. It shouldn't even be a 4-1. We should be getting more games between these two. We should be having more of a back and forth. We should also be getting something more aggressive as well. Something that we did see from Maru in this matchup, and we'll be talking a little bit more about it later on, is how tenacious and how defensive Maru has been in TvP, depending on the map. So we'll get into it once we load into the series. We'll be able to talk about the meta of TvP and how it's changed and how it's evolved, and the current state of TvP in the current patch, in the current map pool, in the current meta, as it is different to what it was once was like a month ago, for example. So very, very different. We will get into it. Also curious to see what the vetoes are going to be as well, and what the map order is going to be. For now, though, we're going to be going to a break. We're going to be cutting to a break. I think it might be an extended break. Before the finals, sometimes it's like 10 or 15 minutes, so it might be an extended break here. When we come back, we'll have that final best of 7 to crown our champion, and it is going to be a new champion, by the way. This is Season 3, and so far, Classic, he's been the only one to win in RSL. He won Season 1, he won Season 2, but Classic, he got knocked down earlier today by SHIN, so we will crown a new champion, and we will have a new player to be invited into the RSL offline finals, which will be in a couple of weeks, which will be in December the 13th. December 13th and 14th is going to be the offline finals, so make sure you mark your calendars for that. It's going to be a big offline event happening in South Korea. For now, we're going to be cutting to a break here, and we'll be back with Maru and Hero. See you soon. Bye. See you soon.